from Alexandre Lacazette just before half-time, the important away goal, which really made it tough for Napoli, and Carlo Ancelotti's team had no response to it. Arsenal march on again to the semi-finals of the UEFA Europa League, where Valencia lie in wait. The final score from the Stadio San Paolo: Napoli 0, Arsenal 1 on the night. Arsenal through to the semi-finals, 3-0 on aggregate.
Well, what an incredible night in Italy. We are through to the Europa League semi-finals. You lot at home are absolutely buzzing about it. I'm still joined in the studio by our two fantastic guests, David and Simon. Gents, we're going to come to you in just a moment for your thoughts on tonight's performance, but we're going to get a word from you guys at home before we do that. So let's have a look at what you've been saying. Love this. 3 points Arsenal, an away clean sheet, and back in the top 4. Breaking news, local man is pleased. Really love that there. Next one, there's a jarring divide with regards to physical power here. Napoli has very little of it. Not often you think Arsenal are imposing, but it did show tonight. It certainly did indeed. 2 clean sheets speak for themselves. And another tweet here, professional performance from Arsenal tonight, got the away goal and just saw the game out. Semi-finals, here we come. So you guys at home are very, very happy, as are we in the Arsenal Nation Live studio. David, how are you feeling? Look at those gnashes. Says it all.
Happy, yeah. Just like Si called it, really, wasn't it, for that second half? Boring, deadpan, go in, keep it 1-0. We'll all be majorly happy with that, and we are. Yeah. I think Napoli spluttered a bit in the second half, caused maybe a couple of problems, but Arsenal just kept getting back. 6, 8 players in the box, filling the box, blocking shots. Listen, game plan, executed well. Bit disappointment with the little Torreira knock and the Ramsey issue. But, you know, on the scheme of things, semi-final, happy days. Again, Bring on Valencia.
I keep saying this, but again, imagine when the whole Napoli thing, I can't beat 3-0 on aggregate and beat them at their place. Like, that's obviously a win. It's a win-win in terms of Arsenal's season as well. To go to show, don't get me wrong, there's still areas of the team that need addressing. But this is a really good Europa League side, and I think maybe this is the year they take that competition. Again, that second half was dull as anything. Let's call a spade, but that's fine. Don't always have to have exciting.
This is where Unai's going to earn his money now, because he's been in this situation with the club 3 times before, 4 times if you count the semi-final when he's been knocked out in them. So he's been in and around this position, and he'll just keep them really focused. And I think it showed in the way the substitutes came on. No one was coming on to make an impact. It was all just to, you know, consolidate, to play the right game, probably with the weekend in mind now. And it was a really good job done by everyone today. Yeah.
It absolutely was indeed. And speaking of good jobs done, let's have a think about who was our man of the match. You guys have been letting us know what you think at home. Michael has said, yes, thank you, Laka, just what we needed. So our goal scorer tonight has impressed him. And Koscielny, man of the match, in my opinion. That's from Francis. Let's get the thoughts of you guys in the studio then. Who impressed you the most, Simon?
I think I'd probably give it to Lacazette. I mean, I don't think it was a solid team performance overall, and he's the guy that pulled a bit of magic out there. You could probably maybe say check. You know, he did make a few decent saves, like, and you know, if you get to the point early in the second half and there's a mistake and Napoli get back on it, maybe there would have been a bit of nerves. But I think it was a very lacklustre, I'm going to say that in a positive way to me, because just get the job done, a lacklustre performance, but it was Lacazette that pulled the magic out of the hat. So I give it to him. But I think there are many people you could focus on and say...
Yeah, there's no one real standout player, was there? Even Lacazette's was just a one
moment of brilliance.
One moment of brilliance, but it was always going to take that. I think Koscielny as well, he's in for a shout. Of the 3 defenders, Socrates got himself in a couple of pickles. Monreal, again, when he plays left of 3, he can make sort of full-back decisions. And by that I mean going in and making a tackle. Because when you're centre-half, you can't always make that decision to go in. Sometimes you've got to say, listen, going to be a little bit safe here. But Koscielny was that consistency.
He was experienced as well.
Yeah, and I think it just... And that's nice going into these last few games of the season to know that he's back in that sort of zone. Because you've been out for a long time. It takes a few games to get your tolerances up and your fitness up. And I just think nice game for him to have a really comfortable, commanding performance in the back. So I'd probably give it to Kosh.
Well, let's look ahead to the semi-final then. Valencia in the next round. I believe we're going to take a look at the results now. Yes, here we are. So there we go. We can see our results there. Chelsea result at the top there. It's, you know, Valencia in the next round. How are we feeling about it?
Confident. I think so. I think we went again. If we can beat Napoli, why can't we beat Valencia? Again, a cup competition is a top of the coin. I mean, you've just seen Chelsea there somehow got themselves into all the trouble in the world.
Frankfurt were 4-2 down. 4-2 down at the start of that game today. Two goals brings them back all square and win on pens.
So it goes to show you can't be overconfident with these things. But I think given everything else happening in the competition, given what Arsenal have done not only tonight but throughout the whole thing, why not? Surely get to the semi-final. Now is the time to get a bit of bravery, a bit of courage, and go for it.
And you're going to have Unai's experience in the Spanish league alongside those clubs.
Exactly,
He'll know what makes them tick.
Yeah, he knows them.
He'll have some inside info on them. There'll be coaches that he know that works with him or have worked there.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd have worked with some of the players, not just there, but on these travels as well. So he'll have a better understanding of them than he would of Napoli. So from that point of view, we've got a good heads up on them. But they score goals, so we're going to have to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Chances are going to have to be limited again. But listen, we're 2 games away from potential silverware.
Absolutely.
And it's exactly where we wanted to be.
And if we're at Valencia first, just keep a clean sheet, bring them back to the Emirates, and to me that's in the final. And who there can't we beat? Like Chelsea are always a worry because they're an English
but we're
team.
We're good away from home now, by the way, because we win.
But that's how it works. We won
1-0. It's all changed. We forgot about all of the bad away results this
Watford
season.
as well. Still counts. 2 1-0 wins.
2 1-0s.
Well, speaking of being good away from home, obviously another clean sheet, the second clean sheet for Czech. Let's take a look at what you guys have been saying at home on social media. Arsenal have defended very well here. Unai Emery tactical masterclass. Let's take a look at the next one then. 2008 was the last time Arsenal kept a clean sheet in both legs of a knockout tie in Europe. So that was some time ago now. And I think you're going to like this one. So Amir has said, if Arsenal keep a clean sheet tonight, I'll put my kidneys on eBay. Well, Amir, you better start getting them on there because we've done it.
I'll buy those kidneys.
Yeah, Simon's going to buy the kidneys.
Worth a lot of money. I'll take those kidneys. Send me the link.
I know you like protein in your diet.
Yeah,
Come on, mate. Come on.
That's taken it a step too far. Amir, your kidneys are safe, but they proved you wrong.
Keep them locked away, inside your body, preferably.
Now, the question I want to ask you both in the studio is, we mentioned Czech's 2 clean sheets back-to-back. Do we go with Czech or Leno in the semi-final?
I think you've got to stick with Czech now. He's played the whole competition, hasn't he? He was there, Europa. I think it'd be really unfair. He's done the job. I mean, the best thing about Petr Cech is, I think, when Emery came in, he can't play out of the back, so on and so forth. But he's doing well in this competition. Yeah. Don't change a winning side.
But that's the same formula that Arsene Wenger had when he was here, and I think it's quite standard procedure in clubs to especially when you've got 2 high-profile goalkeepers. You can't just custard pie one, for a big game. You've got to stick and be true and be honest to what you set out with in the beginning. Czech's the man. He's come this far. Even if he'd have made 2 mistakes today that had almost let them in and us nearly lost the game, but we'd still got through, I still keep checking it.
Me too, yeah.
Because it's his last season. Stay true to the man. Be honest, and that will set Unai up for next season with the player that comes in to replace him in those competitions, and it's a way for players to know that they're respected and they're getting treated right and they're valued right at the club. And Cech certainly deserves that. I think it would be a right kick in the teeth if he didn't play. Absolutely, I'll put a transfer request in if I was him.
Yeah, but Leno and him can have a little competition of their own. Maybe Leno can help get Arsenal into the top 4, and in the same kind of vein in terms of Champions League. Czech can do that too. So don't.
Maybe Czech can get out his 6 championship winning.
Exactly. One of these.
You're never going to get one of these yet, mate. You ain't got one of these yet. So there's always something in the bag.
They can't change it. I think the fans would be upset about that as well. It's just it wouldn't, especially in his last season. He played fine. He was good. He was solid. Yeah,
he's definitely done the job, hasn't he? Well, let's talk about our man Unai Emery now. Now, I've been told tonight was his 50th game in charge. Have a look at this. There he is, Unai Emery. Celebrating. We all absolutely love him. How would you rate his 50 games in charge, David?
50 games, I'd have to give him a rating at, it'd be the easiest way to do it would be out of 10. Yeah. 7. And I'm saying 7 because I want him to go somewhere next season, and I want him to go somewhere the season after. Come the end of the season, if he brings a trophy, he'll get an 8. And I'll let him know that personally. I'll send him an email saying, Unai, you've done well this season. You get an 8 from me, my son.
Well, it's actually the best start for an Arsenal manager. 32 wins out of 50. Is that really a 7 out of 10?
Yeah, that's only a 7. That's only a 7. There's no silverware on the table yet.
Simon, he's a harsh man.
I am, and I think...
I like the fact that now Unai Emery is not only playing for a trophy, but also an 8 out of 10 email.
Absolutely.
From David Hillier.
Yeah. In fact, I'm not sure which is more important. But I think, you know, as players, you always... I like to be a little bit modest, and I think he would like to be a little bit modest, and he wants to stay under the radar.
That's fair.
So let's keep him in there, and then he's always got something to achieve with us. Because I don't think, I'm totally honest, I don't think we've seen brilliant Arsenal all season. From a manager's point of view, though, he's had a hard deck of cards to play with at times, and he's shuffled them about. We know he struggled a little bit with the language. It can't be easy with all the players, but he's made a massive effort with that. So I think progression... He's gone from nowhere in my book because I didn't know him. He was a 0 out of 10 at the start of the season. I didn't know him. And he's got to a 7. So I think, Unai, you've done well. So, you know, he's only got a little bit further to go and you'll be right up there.
Most people start on 10 and work their way down, and then he's on a 0.
Not
I knew nothing about him. I knew nothing about him, and so he's had to win. He's had to win everybody over at the club, hasn't he? No one really knew much about him.
He has.
He's come here an unknown entity, and he's had to win people over.
He's won me over. I think the big thing is, I remember at the start of this was a free season for Arsenal. He can do whatever, let him settle in, again, get the language barrier down, get his own players, figure out English football and so on. And here we are on the cusp of top 4 finish, which we haven't had in a while. Yeah. Maybe winning a trophy we haven't won before. That to me is a really... I don't think, given where everyone expected from the start of the season, you could have asked for much more. There's no point going, oh, you should win the Premier League. Well, that's unrealistic. So, no, I mean, in terms of a number, I don't want to break David's system, so let's not go there.
I'll go for an 8 then, if you need to.
I think he's done a great job, but there's always somewhere to go. But I think whatever we're going to do this season leaves a great foundation for next year. There's a double-edged sword there, though, because now the expectation will be higher next year. You know, if we get Champions League this year, you've got to get it next year, and that's going to require recruitment in the summer. So
I love the way Simon tiptoed around the giving him a score out of 10. You did a very, very good job there.
It's too good a system. The system is too good.
No, we love Unai. That's a general consensus here in the Arsenal Nation Live studio. But before we let you both go, just in one word, if you could sum up today's game.
Calm.
Calm. It's got to be calm for you, Simon.
Calm, actually, first half, but second half was calm.
David's struggling on this one.
I've got an emoji for it.
Okay.
Thinking emoji. That's a good one. Yeah, good one. Thinking emoji.
Emoji. Maybe we can do that as a new feature. David did the same thing.
I'm that one today.
Emoji of the week. OK, well, we like that. Well,
it.
David, Simon, absolutely amazing to have you both on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. And a huge thank you to you guys for watching at home. We are through to the Europa League semi-final. But, of course, we return to Premier League action on Sunday. And you can join us here at the Emirates for all the build-up and analysis. The game is 4 o'clock. We will be live from 3:30. You don't want to miss it. See you then.